Oh, hello everybody, Katie Book Corner coming to you with the mid-year book freakout tag. I'm doing it for the first time since 2019. I didn't do it last year, but this year I've been reading a lot, and I've read like a lot of books this year, and so I just decided to do it. Best book you've read so far in 2021. That is hard because as of currently I've read 203 books. So there is a lot that I have read, but I would have to say my favorite book of the year would be From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It was a really good book that I was not used to, and so I really enjoyed reading that series, and I read the series in about a month, because I first read it back in January, and then I reread it again in the month of April. And by the month of April, I mean I literally read books 1, 2, and 3 in the same month, and now I'm patiently waiting for the companion book series to come out in October, and then the next book to come out sometime in March of 2022. So, but From Blood and Ash has to be as tied with A Court of Silver Flames, which is book 4 in ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas. But yeah, that's the question for that one. Best sequel you've read so far. I would have to say A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. It is, obviously it's book 4 in the ACOTAR series, but it's not really telling the story of Freya and Rhysand, but it's telling the story of Nesta and Cassian, which I obviously really enjoyed. I originally started going out not liking Nesta, but then by this book made me really like her, which is unheard of. But yeah, I enjoyed A Court of Silver Flames, and I'm patiently waiting for the next book. It's crooked, darn it. Gotta love to have tripod problems. Better. So yeah, that's my best sequel so far. New release you haven't read yet but want to. I would have to say that would be, hold on, let's go to my want to read books, because that will have books I want to read and not currently not on my TBR. Just get that over. Gotta love having tripod problems. And the battery's gonna die. Fine. I'll continue this after I change the battery. I'm back with a brand new battery in my camera. Book I'm most anticipating on reading but haven't read yet. Gotta love Goodreads when you're trying to find the book you want to read but you don't remember what it is. Oh, it has to be Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mulhern. She wrote Surfer and Dove and obviously Blood and Honey, and so Gods and Monsters is the third and final book in the trilogy. I've enjoyed the series, and I liked it. I don't want it to end, which is probably why I haven't picked it up yet. I do plan to read it at some point, probably in the month of August. Where I originally thought it was going to come out in August, but then they released it in July. So, yay. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Oh, that would That's an easy one. I am really excited for Kingdom of the Cursed by Kay Manzukula. It's book 2 in the Kingdom of Wicked. Court by Tracy Wolff. It's book 4 in her world. Our Violent Ends, which is the sequel to These Violent Delights, which I enjoyed. Go Tell the Bees That I'm Gone, which is book 9 in the Outlander series. I'm currently doing a reread of it, so I'm excited to read book 9 when it comes out. Biggest disappointment. I will have to say House on Cerulean Seas. I understand why a lot of people enjoyed it. It was just not my cup of tea. And it also happens to be my first ever DNF. It's the first book I ever DNF'd. Because I would tend to like continue reading to get to the point. But with this one, I DNF'd it because I couldn't continue with it. Like one of my friends really enjoyed it, but it was not my cup of tea, and I told her that. But that's the biggest disappointment for me. Favorite new author. I will have to say my favorite new author is Jennifer L. Armentrout because I really enjoyed her books. Nothing against Sarah J. Maas or Cassandra Clare, but Jennifer L. Armentrout is kind of there. Debut. I will have to say I'm going to be reading The Daughter of Sparta. And she's a debut author. I don't remember her name on the top of my head. By Claire Andrews, which I'm really excited because I'm a huge fan of Greek mythology. So I was looking forward to it anyway because it has like Apollo, Artemis, the gods. A new author to me. I'm going to say again, Jennifer L. Armentrout. New fictional crush. Well, that's hard. I don't have a new fictional crush. I would have to say it's Azrael from Court of ACOTAR. He's always my crush. That and Cassian and Reese. New favorite character. Poppy from Blood and Ash. Book that made you cry. That is hard. What's a book that made me cry that I read so far this year? Not too many books made me cry this year. I would have to say I recently reread Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas, and a certain part of the book always makes you cry. I cried at that part. Books that made you happy. I would have to say rereading Throne of Glass, because that and all of the Shadowhunter books always make me so much happier when I reread them. Most beautiful book you've bought or received so far this year. So I haven't received it yet because it hasn't shipped yet. But I bought the Fairy Loot editions of the From Blood and Ash. So I'm patiently waiting for it to come. So that's the most beautiful book because it's beautiful designs and everything. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? The Outlander series. I want to be able to be done with my reread before December ends. That is the one I'm aiming for. But I started off the year with a reading goal of 200 books. I've updated it twice so far this year. The first time was to bump it up to 250 books. And I bumped it up again today, actually. As I'm filming this, I bumped it up to 350 books. The reason why I did that is because this year I'm reading a whole genre that I'm not used to reading. And I just started reading this year. and that happens to be manga. And manga is like very fast to get through. So I've been reading a lot of manga, and so it makes me, I want to like keep pushing myself. Like I still have physical books, but I do still have a lot of manga I want to be able to read. Which is why I've just kept pushing up my reading challenge to now hopefully read 350 books. Granted, I'm currently at 203 completed books. I think this is the largest amount of books I've read in a year. And I just started doing Goodreads about 3 years ago. So the fact that I have completed 203 books so far in the year 2021 is insane. But I'm enjoying reading, and I'm enjoying the mangas that I'm reading and the whole different genres. So that is the update. Thanks for coming to my mid-year book tag. Bye!